Hello and welcome, folks, to the final countdown to kickoff for the season. FAMU, Mississippi Valley. And yeah, unfortunately, it does come to an end today. There will be a post-game reaction afterwards. Hopefully, all of you had a happy and safe Thanksgiving and everything such as that, and continue to have a happy and safe holidays as well. Also, too, I was hoping I could. My apologies, I couldn't have been on the Monday Night Review. Hopefully, I'm able to be on it this week, recapping this game and then also wrapping up the season as well. So we're gonna do all those fun things and everything such as the sort. So today, of course, again, FAMU Valley. We're going to sit here and we're going to talk about it, of course. So players to watch, keys to victory, everything such as that. Didn't really get Coach Colsey's thoughts and everything, or neither Terrell Buckley's as well either, but that's fine. I'm sure a lot of you don't really care to hear from Colsey and what he had to say during the week, and understandably so. Y'all are done with him. I'm done with him. Y'all are pissed off. I'm pissed off. I get it. We'll all be pissed off together. Hopefully, they can end the year on a high note, get to 6-6, and at least finish with a 500 record to wrap up the 2025 season and go into 2026 with something to be happy about. But with that being said, comment section's open for those of you that are watching. Be sure to leave a comment. And also, if you are new to this channel, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And also, too, real quick before we do run the intro, a couple of score updates from around the country so far in an interesting rivalry weekend. So Georgia, 3 games from Friday night. Georgia over Georgia Tech, 16-9 in Atlanta. Texas A&M shockingly upset by Texas, 27-17. Longhorns win that one, makes it for an interesting college football playoff bracket now. As well, too, Arizona in the duel in the desert takes down Arizona State 23-7. Those are your Friday games. As of right now, at the half, you have Miami up 17-7 over Pitt. Miami's making a push for the playoff. In the FCS playoffs, you have Youngstown State up 35-7 over Ivy League Yale at the half. And then in the game, which I think everybody was watching, and it has been physical, and it's still not decided, Ohio State up 17-9 over Michigan. And then the Bayou Classic just now getting ready to kick off here in a few. They're actually about to do Lift Every Voice and Sing and the national anthem as I watch. And then you also have FAMU and Valley today, which is the one that we all care about, at 3 p.m. And then you have 2 SEC matchups here on Rivalry Weekend. Vandy at Tennessee at 3:30, and then Auburn and Alabama at 7:30 to round it out. And with that, we can go ahead and roll the intro for the last countdown to kickoff of 2025. So don't go anywhere. Keep stuff in your face. Grab a cold one. Here we go. All right. So now without further ado, again, yes, this game was supposed to be played back in, what was that, October 4th, actually. Yeah, it's supposed to be played October 4th. FAMU was gifted an extra bye week. So the statement that did eventually come down from the athletic department, and you know what, I'll actually make it a lot more visible and better. So athletic department came out with a statement. So the SWAC contest on October 4th, 2025 which was a Mississippi Valley home game. So those of you that still don't think that at this point, you're remedial. I have nothing else to say to you, because some people out here, they still think this was a FAMU home game, and it never was. It will not be played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, as Mississippi Valley is the designated home team. Again, I emphasize home team, Mississippi Valley. The decision has been made to postpone the game and play it at Rice-Totten Stadium, Itta Bena, Mississippi, on Saturday, November 29th, 2025 at 2 p.m. And again, that's 2 p.m. their time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, that's today. We regret the impact that this unexpected change will have on our fans, and we will make every effort to provide a quality game day experience during the rescheduled date of competition. While this outcome is disappointing for our fans and community, our focus remains on upholding the standards and integrity of our athletics programs. Mississippi Valley and FAMU remain committed to excellence on and off the field, and we will continue to provide our student athletes and supporters with competitive and high-quality experiences. So that was your statement from FAMU Athletics. And I got to say, hopefully next year, because it seems that this has only happened under Colsey. And this is the part you just can't do anything about. Hopefully next year, there's no natural disaster, such as a hurricane that'll come through the state, or hopefully next year, there's no wannabe promoter that just sees a quick money grab and really doesn't have any idea what he or her or they are doing, and decides to get money hungry and do something stupid, which still want to meet the dumbass who decided that game was a good idea in Atlanta, knowing Valley has no fans and nobody from FAMU was going to show up because Valley sucks. So with that being said, hopefully we can get through the season. No interruptions, no natural disasters, no problems at all. So hopefully this is the last of it, because again, this seems to have only happened under Colsey's watch, which sucks for him, which I'll admit that too. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into it. So for Valley, of course, last week you lost to Prairie View 6-59. And oh my gosh, I don't even know what to make of it. They have not won a conference game this season. Their lone win was against Lincoln. They currently average 17 points per game. They failed again. I'm going to mention it again. They failed alongside the 100 Black Men of Atlanta, I believe it was DeKalb County, to put on a game in Atlanta. So my advice would be just don't do that again. Just don't do it again, for the sake of everybody and saving the embarrassment as well too. So they gave up 234 yards rushing. 4 different rushers had TDs last week for Prairie View. They gave up 266 yards passing. 1 wide receiver on his own had 100 yards for Prairie View. The leading rusher had less than 25 yards rushing for Valley, which is, again, insane. As well too, they only 62 yards in total rushing as a team offensively, and the longest run was 11 yards. The lead wide receiver only had 35 yards on 2 targets, and they were absolutely atrocious on third down. With we're going 2 for 14. 8 penalties for 65 yards. Very bad. If you can't win this game today, oh my gosh, if you can't win this game today, I don't know what to tell you, because from what it seems like, we're screwed and we're stuck with Colsey for 2026, which I'm fine, honestly. I mean, a lot of you that have seen this channel, you guys know I'm in the camp of being a fan of Quinn Gray. Some people aren't, and people have their reasons. I think the reason is because of the fact that Earl Holmes failed. And some people don't want to see another former player or ex-Rattler come in here that played in the NFL come in and fail like Earl Holmes did. But the thing that separates the two is the fact that Earl Holmes had no head coaching experience, or truthfully, until he got here. He was only at the best a defensive coordinator under Joe Taylor. Came here, became a head coach for the first time, failed horribly. Quinn Gray, on the other hand, and by the way, if you haven't seen that interview yet between ONG Strikes and Quinn Gray, it was top quality and it was a great job, honestly. He sounds much more mature, although it's crazy that I'm 28 saying that about a grown man. And yeah, he came in with a lot more. Quinn has a lot more swagger. He seems a lot more sure of himself. He seems a whole lot more mature than even the last time when we had him on here back in 2020. Listening to Quinn Gray talk now, world of difference in just 5 years. Which again, geez, that is crazy of me to say being 28. I'm talking about a man that's like 40, 50 years old. But nevertheless, I listen to him talk and I'm like, that's who we definitely need to give a shot to when he's ready. And by the way, all the arrows point in the direction that not this offseason, but I think next offseason, he gets the first interview, and I think he is the top choice. That's true. He did not. He did not. I think that they just looked at him like, oh my gosh, you're a former player and you know what it's like here. And we're going to entrust this with you. Not really doing extensive homework. And yes, Quinn Gray does have a resume under his hands or under his belt that I think speaks volumes. Just again, listening to him talk, saying how he raised the GPA at Albany State from a 2.2 to 2.8, possibly a 3.0 here by Christmas time. And then how, they do Bible study together, emphasizing things, worlds apart. And that's true. He didn't have a recruiting resume either. Although I will say Quinn Gray, who was on his staff, and again, Quinn Gray's matured greatly since then. Quinn Gray is the same person that recruited Ryan Stanley. Let that go on the record too. So he knows how to pick and choose his quarterbacks. Plus, the fact too, he has Isaiah Knowles right now too, as well. Hope you had enjoyed your holiday. Thanks, man. I definitely did. All of us did. Me, Ace, Mr. Sasser, Chad. All of us definitely did. Watch how already starts this game. Is he locked in or just going through the motions? Uninspired. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And that's where I'm at looking at this. I'm like, I want to know who's going to show up and who's going to play today. Who is going to show up and who's going to play? And who's just out there going through the motions because it's the last game of the season and it doesn't really matter. I'm getting in the portal. So again, to this point here on the screen, newsflash for those that don't think this game really matters or that you're just going to get in the portal and find a new place. You better put on some film because this is your last shot. And this whole jumping around to 3 different schools thing is not attractive. And if I'm not mistaken, too, there's only one portal window now. So if you move, you better make it your best move. It's great. Experiencing shows. Yes. That's very true. That's very true. And again, when we had him on, he told us, even more details behind his, his story and everything, which if you haven't heard his story from going back to his NFL career and everything like that, like you kind of appreciate you appreciate who he is now. I'll say that. Like he's grown as an individual. Now you can see he's continuing to grow. So I'm definitely someone that's rooting for him, even though he is at Albany State. I'm definitely rooting for him. And again, I hope he finds his way here in 2027. I really do. All right. So next one on the ledger. So for FAMU, of course, as we all know, last week, losing to Bethune-Cookman in the Florida Classic 34-38 because Quite simply, all you had to do is just drop back into cover 4, and they found the weak link in a defensive back who can't cover to save his freaking life. So FAMU will finish with their worst record since joining the SWAC. FAMU has a chance to still finish at 500 and go 6-6. As well, too, they're averaging 22.5 points per game according to ESPN. Colsey is looking like he's going to be coaching his final season in 2026. Although lack of awareness and details on defense, which, I mean, you literally put details and discipline on a T-shirt, and we have yet to even really see it since week 1. We still look the same defensively, but that's neither here nor there. Rushing attack did look good last week. That Franklin had 118 yards and 1 TD, made up for that 1 fumble. Jamal Haley had 78 yards and 1 TD. Thought he should have gotten more opportunities, but it is what it is. As well, too, the defense was atrocious. They gave up 485 yards and 1 clinching deep shot on that, which will not be mentioned. It is what it is. And they gave up 274 yards passing and 211 yards rushing, and that 211 is why they lost right there. Also, FAMU was 3 of 10 on 3rd down last week and 0 for 1 on 4th down, 7 penalties for 70 yards. I don't like Quinn, but G-Jax wants out of Delaware State and was a finalist for the Southern job. We can get him. I think we might be a person. Possibly. There's a possibility. You know, it depends. I wonder how much money is he making at Delaware State, which, I mean, honestly, he's probably not making enough, if we're being honest. I feel like Deshaun Jackson, much like Dion, and if it is in fact 100% true, which I think it is, much like Marshall Faulk too, I think Dion kind of showed a path for a lot of those guys that are NFL coaches. I think Deshaun Jackson wants the Cal Golden Bears job at Cal Berkeley. So I do think that because that job's open right now, I feel like plus he played there, I feel like if Cal comes calling and they say, hey, D-Jax, we saw what you did in 1 year at Delaware State, a school with little to no resources. How about you come out west, come back home, and then we really just light this thing up, and we could probably take over the ACC. That's the only reason why I feel like Deshaun Jackson is on his way to going back to Cal. It's funny, though. I thought Michael Vick would have been the guy that would have been the leading candidate for Virginia Tech, and they come to find out roles reversed this offseason. I did not see Delaware State really being the power that they became. But, I mean, who knows, though? You never know. It could be Quinn. It could be Deshaun Jackson. Could be the coach at Johnson C. Smith. Could be somebody else. Let's see. What's it said? Only half the players that jump in the portal find a home. That's very true. There's a lot of players didn't find a home coming into this season. It was like over 1,000, over 2,000 kids in there, and many of them. The one thing I saw was someone said, "Don't be a player that is a star at an FCS school or an HBCU, and then you get recruited to the SEC or to a FBS level school just to be a scout team player and ride the bench." Someone said that spoke volumes, and that's how a lot of players end up. I see Robinson House. Oh yeah. There's a lot of them said they were going to show up and support him. You know why they're supporting him too. They're supporting him because he went there, but they're supporting him for another reason. Because that man still has a house in Tallahassee. So he's still got a lot of connections in Tallahassee. And he put in for that job after Willie Simmons left. Do with that what you will. But yeah, it's good to know that they're up 7-6 right now with a minute 8 seconds left till the half. Nice. I hope they pull it out, honestly. I hope he wins the whole thing. And I hope he goes back and wins the whole thing again next year before coming back home. If you know Cozy's a lame duck, why wait? That's crazy. Exactly. Spouse, kid, home. Oh, it won't be long. So I've heard. It won't be long. If you know Cozy's a lame duck, why wait? You know, and this goes back to that interview that ONG Strike Zone did, which, by the way, shout out to, Kelvin and the crew for what they did with that interview with Quinn Gray. Quinn was the one that basically said right now he's in no rush. And I can understand when he said that he had, I believe it was 6 seniors on that Albany State team right now, and 4 of them play, meaning everybody basically comes back next year. His quarterback comes back next year. And he said he felt like he had a good shot of repeating the success of this year, next year, times 10. That's enough to make a coach kind of want to sit around and stick around and see those guys through. So I can understand why they're not moving off of him yet, because I'll be willing to bet you, because again, Quinn Gray was at the Jackson State game, and so was Angela, and so was John Davis. That conversation was definitely had. It's actually crazy when you think about it. The guy that's your replacement, you coached against him and beat him because A, you had more resources than him, but also too, and then he comes back to watch the game and sees how you're running the ship and probably saying to himself, yeah, I could definitely lead this team to bigger and better things. So I don't understand why there's a need to wait, but I can see why too. Plus, you got to think too, APR scores, you don't want that to be affected either. So that's another thing I've also heard. So it's like when you keep the coach in place, it kind of helps with the APR scores kind of like stay where they need to be, hopefully. I forget the number that I was told that FAMU needs to hit. I know it was like 900 something. But right now it's like they're dealing with limited hours because they can't practice on Monday. So this next APR score that comes out, you got to hit it out the park. And if you fire the coach, you kind of shake that up. So I do get it. Yeah, something could be up. Something could be up. You never know. Never know. I'm gonna say it's Herm Edwards was fired on the field too. Lane Kiffin was fired on an airplane. So you never know. What's up, little baby 245? Hopefully you had a happy and safe Thanksgiving. And hopefully you guys continue to have a happy and safe holidays. All right. So as far as players to watch for Mississippi Valley for today goes, you have Brandon Nunez, who was 9 of 18, 80 yards, 1 TD last week against Prairie View. And then their leading rusher, who is also a quarterback. God, geez, you better win this freaking game today. Malik Kemp, 13 carries, 21 yards. None of these yards are over 50 after the quarterback. Cameron Nelson, 2 receptions, 35 yards. Mekhi Norris, 1 reception, 20 yards. Jalen Wright, 57 total tackles on the season, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He's literally the do-it-all guy. This is also true. She has been to every game. She has. Because she was in Huntsville, too. She's probably just trying to, definitely appease to the masses, of course. Like, you're the new president. You got to shake hands and kiss babies. As well, too. Another wide receiver, Shade Schaefer, 2 receptions, 12 yards. The opportunities are going to be there today. Good God. That's insane. Nobody on offense except the quarterback got over 50 yards. Jeez Louise, dude. Boy, I tell you. Now, granted, that was also against the team that won the West. So Flo Rattler, I see your comment. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Players to watch for FAMU. Quarterback RJ Johnson, of course, on the season all total, 2,314 yards, 16 touchdowns, 1 interception. Too careful with the ball at times, but again, 16 touchdowns and 1 interception. I'm sure any quarterback would take that any day, even in the NFL. Running back Thad Franklin, 151 carries, 737 yards, 6 touchdowns on the season. And then Jamal Haley, 72 carries, 422 yards, 5 TDs. He came on strong here in the second half of the season. Hopefully he has a big day today. Wide receiver Kenari Wilcher, 37 receptions, 531 yards, 3 TDs. And then wide receiver Goldie Lawrence, 27 receptions, 382 yards, 2 TDs. And then Jason Riles, who's been an excellent player this season, honestly. 75 total tackles this year. He's the leading tackler on this team. He's been elite this year. He's been the bright spot as far as, tackling goes. Shoot, if you had 10 more guys that tackled like that, this team would probably be, dare I say, at least 8-4. But who knows? You need to recruit more guys with that type of skill set that can tackle well. Let's see. Let's see. I'd like to see the kind of scenario like what happened with Southern's coach, where he's relieved as head coach and reassigned to another position as an at-will employee, so he wasn't fired outright. Yeah, and I believe that was in Colsey's contract because there is no buyout in his contract, but I think he has like a 2-month grace period where he would have to be reassigned to another position. So I was told, and I think they could have done that, but I feel like, again, because we know who the lead candidate is, because of the fact that I think they want to wait another year for Quinn, they're just going to let this whole contract play out. Plus, again, APR scores matter a ton. And again, yes, and this was talked about. So I don't think that they're going to do that. I thought that's what they were going to do, but for just 2 months, but I guess not anymore. I believe so. He was, let's see. Let's see here. Yeah, he's a redshirt senior. So, yes, he definitely was one of the ones at senior day that were honored. So, again, yeah, you're going to have to basically, you had 40 seniors, 22 of them on defense. You're going to have to rebuild this whole entire defense on top of the fact that, yes, you have your defense was Swiss cheese, so you're losing a lot of pieces. You're going to have to rebuild the whole thing in a whole new image with a whole new mindset, and you're in a contract year. Whew. It's going to be hard to do that if you're umpiring softball and baseball games. They probably didn't. Does coach have his PhD yet? If so, reassign him to an AD assistant under the foreigners former. I don't know. I heard he was still taking classes. And working on it. So because my thing is still too, you're out here officiating or umpiring games, but at the same time too, you're working on your PhD. So, and then you're also a head football coach. So, like, hell, coach, what do your grades look like? I hope they're good. I'm assuming they're good, but he's got too much on his plate, man. Oh boy, it's 24-9 now. Ohio State's up. Ooh boy. Oh. Sheesh Louise. Yeah, Ohio State might end the streak today. Wow. All right. So one of the other things too that I did take away, or actually, yeah, I took it away from Kirby Smart. I'm gonna share it here. as I did with Nick Saban's statements as well too. And I shared this with Tasha on 2 weeks ago, leading up to the Florida Classic. So, or not 2 weeks ago, last.
Yeah, it's the approach we take. We're gonna dominate and try to win the fourth quarter. It's what we do in practice. It's what we do in the off season. It's what we build our core culture around, is being a more physical team. And you have to recruit physical players, and they have to buy into that process. I don't know that a lot of these kids nowadays, they want to check. They don't want physicality. And if you have the check and no physicality, you end up with nothing. So we're not just getting checks at our place. We're hitting people.
It's ironic. I get it. We live in a new day and age of NIL. But at the same time, too, much like Kirby Smart said, we want hungry, physical kids. What's up, Shaco's 2728? What's up? But yeah, no, I agree with Kirby Smart there. You have to bring in kids that are hungry, that are physical, and that are nasty. Exactly. And he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. And why did I bring that up? I go back to the fact that, yes, we're losing 40 seniors, 22 on defense. And the fact of the matter is, you need to go find kids that are hungry and that are physical and that want to get nasty. That's what I'm alluding to when I share that. Because you may want to check, but you need to earn your check. If anything, for example, if you put $450,000 in front of me in my face to play football as a college kid, now, it'd probably take about 10 million, to be honest. But if you put $450K in front of my face as a sophomore to play football and to earn a starting spot, you better believe I'm going to go out there and kill myself. Because I'm broke. That $2,000, $3,000 for financial aid ain't going to cover everything. I get it. So, yes, controlled aggression, like Kirby Smart says, and another thing he always says too, the intent to hunt. Hey, look, I've been there before. I didn't play college ball, but I've been there before. And look, for $450K, look, I'll fill the hole. We are definitely not going hungry. That $450K will carry you as a college kid for a whole entire year. All right. The other thing too, so questions here first for Valley. How do you stay locked in if you're Mississippi Valley? Simply put, again, guys are fighting for starting spots. Guys are trying to put film on for their next destinations or for their new head coaches, wherever they may go. Because I definitely think Terrell Buckley's he's going to be back for 2026. This was his first year. He's finally seen what he's got to work with there. So guys are putting on tape, trying to show Terrell Buckley or show whoever they're going to play for their new destination what they have and what they've got. So you really have to stay locked in for today. It does suck because it's Thanksgiving weekend and you're away from your family and stuff, but you got to make it work somehow. Also, what's the approach for next year if you're Terrell Buckley? Honestly, I'm finding players. If I'm Terrell Buckley, I'm looking at the stats from Jalen Wright. I'm going to go find 22 more guys just like him if I'm Terrell Buckley. And I'm going to build off of it. And I'm going to do my best to try to sell Mississippi Valley. It is. If you can get into a shootout and at least just really for them, just hang tough and maybe even steal a win, it's a great showing for Terrell Buckley. Not to mention the fact that he's already heavily motivated going up against Colsey. He is highly motivated to try to beat him. Because, again, going back to media day, what was the thing Colsey said about when Terrell Buckley got the job? He was like, you know what? I used to look up to that guy. Terrell Buckley was, after Deion left Florida State, Terrell Buckley was the man at Florida State at corner. Jim Thorpe Award winner just like Deion. Punt returner just like Deion. Electric player just like Deion. And then who inspired Colsey to go to Florida State? Terrell Buckley. I don't know. I know I do. I haven't heard anything about that. Um, he is from Mississippi, so I think that's also playing a key reason into why he took the FAMU job. I've heard some people throw out there like Ron Dugan's wanting or being interested in this job, but to be honest with you, I don't think he's really interested in being the head coach because I don't think FAMU can afford him. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't think, and I would hate that for FAMU personally. If Ron Dugan's got the job, I feel like that would set you back even further. Now, granted, he's coached some good wide receivers like Braxton Berrios and Jeff Thomas, who was also at Miami. But now I could see Colsey bringing on Ron Dugans as a wide receiver coach to try to save his ass for 2026. Although personally, where I stand on the fence with that is I think he needs to win the SWAC championship. If he doesn't do that, in my opinion, he's gone. So, and I don't think this team is going to win enough games next year, looking at the schedule, to do that. Oh, shit. Well, yeah. Yep. There it is right there. I agree. No more defensive-minded head coaches. No more. And I agree with this too. The Florida State experiment is done as far as coaches at FAMU. It's done. After this, I'm over it. It's not. Weather's cold, wet, and dreary and itty bitty today. Should favor the offenses. Hope FAMU has 1 point more. I agree. I hope they do too. This favors the run game actually as well too. The fact that it's cold and wet. So it's going to be one of those grimy, ugly type games. Establish your run game. Do what you did in the Florida Classic with Haley and Thad Franklin. Get that 118, that 78 yards going. First Reuben Carter. Now we're here with identical results. No more. And what makes it funny too, Reuben Carter was a former Hurricane. But I will say, after having Philip Sylvester and Kevin Elliott on here, and being from the same city as Leroy Van and knowing people who went to high school with him, I will give Reuben Carter his kudos for saying that that man could recruit. He knew how to recruit Florida, and he brought in some good pieces that Joe Taylor benefited from. I will give him his flowers with that, because without Reuben Carter, there probably is no Philip Sylvester, Kevin Elliott, Leroy Van, guys like that, or Curtis Pulley. Well, I'm not going to say no Curtis Pulley, but still, Yeah, that was a massive mistake. That was a massive mistake. I was telling somebody actually a few days ago, I much would have rather FAMU had kept Corey Fuller and promoted him from interim to head coach. I think they would have been better off with that, honestly. All right, so let's see here for FAMU. So a couple questions is, how does FAMU finish this year on a high note? Quite frankly, how do they finish the year on a high note? Leave it all on the field. Leave it all on the field. Don't let up. Throw it all out there. Put together your best blitz packages, your best offensive plays, and give it 4 quarters. This is a game you just let it all hang out. Because you put the film out there for all these guys. You put the film out there for yourselves as a coach. Because if I'm Colsey, some of these guys, they got to go. Because at this point now, I'm trying to cover my own, what. I'll say this. His recruiting with the guys that he had. Facts. With the guys that he had. So, Ryan Stanley was someone, he was recruited by Quinn Gray. Marcus Williams, recruited by, that Earl Holmes staff who had Quinn Gray, Corey Fuller on it, guys like that. They all, and I know this because they all told me we took our visits together. But when they took their visits, it was under Alex Wood's staff, you know. And then again, who else was there? Kareem Smith, who I feel like probably was also another guy brought in under Earl Holmes. He just so happened to play for Alex Wood. Like, but I will say he didn't leave the table bare. So I'll give him that. This is also true. What's up, Troy? Hope you're doing well, man. I don't know if that Florida game oh no, it doesn't start till 4:30. You still got time. You still got time. All right. Let's see. So what are the expectations for 2026? I'm probably jumping the gun here. Honestly, my expectations for 2026 with this team were just like what Kirby Smart said in that video I put up. You know, don't just come in here thinking you're going to get a check. You need to be nasty, physical, and fast. Simply put. That's my expectation for 2026. I probably may not get it. I probably might have to wait till 2027 to get that expectation. Oh, don't crash out, man. Don't crash out. I'm rooting for Florida State to win today because, again, do I want the season to be over for both FAMU and Florida State? Yes, I do. But at the same time, too, because I don't know who's going to be in that ReliaQuest Bowl New Year's Day here, I'm hoping Florida State can get the Gasparilla Bowl. And if they get that, then it's like, okay, I still do get to go enjoy a bowl game. All right. Let's see. Is this a game where you have to bring your own juice? Yes, it is. Because funny enough, like I've said on Troy's podcast, Fat Mouth Sports, there's not going to be anybody there. There's only going to be 2 people and a mule there because it's the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Mississippi. So, yeah, you got to bring your own juice. I don't know if their band's going to be there. I know they offered free tickets for this game in Itabena because, again, nobody's going to probably be there because all the people in Mississippi were either, at the Egg Bowl or they're all prepping and planning for next week for the SWAC championship. So I can fully understand. So, yes, this is a game where you got to fake it till you make it, bring your own juice, and fly around. Give it your best 60 minutes and get out of there. Plus, again, yes, and bad weather. You got to bring your own juice. You got to be willing to get down and grimy and dirty. Hey, I hope so, man. I hope so. I need plans for bowl season. So I would love to be able to go to the Gasparilla Bowl. I haven't been in a while. So hopefully they do get there. And if they get there, they're catching I've heard UConn. They're catching a UConn team that just lost Jim Moore. So you're getting a team that's probably going to already be checked out and not really willing to fight for anything. And they're already going to be searching for a new head coach. So hopefully that works out. Hopefully both teams in Tallahassee win today. Oh yeah, they know we watching. They definitely know we watching. 100%. Oh, they did? Oh, wow. Wait, so they just scored and then 24-9 in the Michigan-Ohio State game. Yeah, I'm expecting Grambling to run them out of the stadium. If they get the Gasparilla Bowl, I'm going to cover it. I really hope so. And I need you to do like what that Muslim dude did to George Bush, where he threw the shoe at George Bush. I need you to do that to Mike Norvell. But I just don't want you to get arrested, man. I hope Coach Colsey didn't forget the Croker sacks. They may have to pick. Oh my gosh. Sheesh Louise. Goodness gracious. Let's see. Another question as well. Trying to stay focused. Why aren't we communicating on defense? Again, there's been a lack of communication, in my opinion, looking at it since week 1 all the way now to last week, week 13. This defense is not communicated well. They're much like last week. There were opportunities for turnovers and takeaways, and you did not take advantage of it. So hopefully today there's a better emphasis on communication defensively, because nobody should be running wide open 20, 30 yards downfield for a touchdown. That should not happen. Xavier Smith, that's a walk-on. He earned a spot on the team, but he was definitely a walk-on. Let's see, Derek Mayweather. He didn't really even play either, Xavier Smith, because his brother played more. Because I think his story was really more so, again, he worked at Amazon. His brother was already there making plays and stuff. Followed his brother there, and then he walked on and earned a spot. Chris Fadul, I'll give it to him. Although Wood tried to lowball Chris Fadul in the Florida Classic in 2017 when he told Fadul fake it, then went back and told the media that Chris Fadul did his own thing. But again, coaches do that to cover their own asses. DeMontre Moore. Okay, yes. So I'll give him that. I'll give him those 4. I can't promise not to cuss him out. Goodness gracious. God. If they win the game, though, you can't cuss them out. If they win the game, you can't cuss them out. We gotta at least do that. I'd rather they took hay for those jacked up. Let's see. It shouldn't happen, but expect to see it. They got no see who I wouldn't mind in our press box. That's true. He was, I believe, a 2-time Division III national championship coach. I think I have it here in my notes, actually. Let's see. Because I did write that down. Yeah, Sam Parker, 3-time Division II. My bad, not Division III. 3-time Division II national champion, Sam Parker, who comes in as their OC. And then Brandon Nunez is their quarterback from New Mexico State today. So, defensive back 1-on-1. Never allow the receiver to get behind you. Unless our DBs haven't been taught. Exactly. They have not been taught that. And it's crazy because, again, it's November 29th, 2015. It is week 14, and you still have trouble understanding that, which is crazy to me. And we haven't seen Dalen Ditson all season long, who I'm sure if he's probably in the game, that doesn't happen. And again, me back on the Quinn Gray train here, I didn't realize that the Albany State defense is 4th in Division II right now in the country in total defense. I bet you they would have got off the field on 4th and 8. Then again, you know what, Troy? Let it all out. Let it all out. I just want to see how it goes. Let it all out, Troy. If they win today and they get that game, and you end up getting those media credentials, let it all out, Troy. I just want to hear the tale afterwards. Just hear how it went. Unfortunately, that's also true too. Emaciated horses walking the streets of Vita Bena. I'm telling you, I really hope I see at least one up against the fence, just parked and tied up at this game. I really hope I just see one. Good God. That would make my day. All right. But no, again, yeah, little baby though, you're correct. Again, yes. Favorite's not the best 11, and it's a detriment. It's hurting us. Definitely hurt last week. Because I don't understand how you play the drag route, and you're supposed to be definitely staying as deep as somebody that's going to run a fly route who has home run capability. Why is Valley's strength on offense? If it's the wide receivers, oh boy. I'm holding out hope that honestly these wide receivers repeat their performance from last week of nobody getting over 50 yards and nobody really having over like 3 receptions. I'm really hoping and holding out hope that happens, honestly. But again, our defense is not Prairie View's defense. That is a championship division champ defense that who knows, they may or may not win next week. Who knows? We'll see what happens. We're not that anymore. All right. So with that being said, of course, I'm going to go ahead and get into my keys to victory for today because we do have about 8 minutes here before kickoff. And by the way, there will also be a post-game recap. We'll come back after the game, definitely talk about the game, talk about whether it's a win or loss, everything that there is. We'll also preview, of course, next season, and we'll look at the schedule for next season as it states right now, amongst other things, and we'll just close out the year. So with that being said, let me go ahead and give my keys to victory here. So key to victory number 1, cover the deep ball. Don't bite on anything short. Definitely stay deep if you're supposed to be the deep man. Don't do anything stupid, pretty much. Consistency on offense is another way to go. And then the last one, of course, leave it all out on the field. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Leave it all out on the field. When you go back in that locker room, have no regrets. That's all I can say. And then from there, go ahead and go get started on 2026. Wait, let's see. Wait a minute. So Mississippi Valley will run the same play to see if he's alive. Oh, I'm counting on it. I'm counting on it. And if he falls for it, shame on him. You should not have that mistake, but we probably will. Unfortunate to say. But yeah, you shouldn't fall for the same play twice. You should be able to pick up on keys. Like if the man goes in motion and has a tendency to do this, then it's likely going to be that. You shouldn't fall for that. But again, that comes from miscommunication and not emphasizing details and discipline throughout the week. 2 things go on out on that field: what you're coached to do, what you're allowed to do. Yes, also too, if you don't want to listen to SWAC TV, or not SWAC TV, if you don't want to listen to HBCU Go, make sure you listen on 96.1 Jams with Brian and Albert Chester Sr. So, yes, and it is on iHeartRadio. This is very true. Yes, it is on iHeartRadio. So, go give them a listen. Listen to them throughout the game. I'm definitely going to tap in and listen to them today as well, while I also mute the game. So it should be a good one. And with that, let me go ahead and give score predictions for today. So Ace gave his prediction Wednesday night. He said FAMU 31, Mississippi Valley 34. He said he's doing this for the agenda, but I feel like Colsey's coming back anyway. So I feel like there's no agenda to end the season off. I feel like there's going to be more so of an agenda he can follow next year. And then as well too, Mr. Sasser, he thinks FAMU's going today by 10. FAMU 38, Mississippi Valley 28. I can get with that. That works. And then for me, I am going with FAMU 38, Mississippi Valley 24. I do think that we finally score 38, which we should have done that last week and then some. But I think this team, they establish a run and they do what they need to do. And I think they go 6-6 to round out the year. And with that, folks, that is all I've got for you to round out Countdown to Kickoff. So with that being said, of course, Also, let me go ahead and share this too before we do go, because I was talking with people about this, and it does definitely need to be hit on every time that we get a chance. Where is it at? There we go. Let's make sure that we are, if it loads, let's make sure we're continuing to give to Fang Exchange, the NIL, collective for FAMU. Again, I just recently heard about the numbers out there. I believe FAMU's NIL collective is anywhere between 50K to 100K, whereas our competition out there has in the neighborhood of, or our top competition has anywhere in the neighborhood of 600 to 650K, or 500K to 600K. So we definitely have to do better as far as, investing. I get it. It's not a winning product right now, but the sun will shine on us again. Better days are ahead. And one of the main ways that you can make sure better days are ahead is to invest back in these student athletes. And it's not just football. You have a conference, you have a championships volleyball team, you have a softball team that I think will win the softball tournament and advance to the NCAA softball tournament as well. You have a basketball team that is slowly developing to becoming what they need to be. Slowly. It's going to take time. Give Charlie Ward time, but it can get there. You have, a volleyball, or just say volleyball. But yeah, volleyball, softball, baseball, golf, all of these things. So give the Fang Exchange. Let there just be one collective. There doesn't need to be 20, 30, 40 collectives out there. There needs to be just one single collective that we can give to. So let's continue to grow this one and help it improve week to week. I was saying to myself, actually, I'm like, well, what if right now, if we're at 100K, maybe we could push for, 250. Oh, wait, hold on. It's SWAC TV. Damn it. God, I hate SWAC TV. Shit's always freezing. But yes, if we're at 100K now, let's push for 250K by summertime. And then after that, let's push for, 500K by, next year on Christmas. And then when we're I want to say about March, let's shoot for 750K in 2027. So let's continue to grow. But enough of me on my soapbox, folks. Let's see. Got to keep the faith in the good guys. I agree. I hope that's what happens today. I definitely think they can win. However, the linebacker cannot line up on the outside of the slot. Free release. Yes, I agree. And that's where I was saying in the Monday review a couple weeks ago, if you're that linebacker, you got to chip him. Chip him, deliver some type of blow, knock him off his mark, something. Slow him down for the safety or for whoever's going to carry him. But yeah, that's all I got. Actually, geez, game just already started. Been doing a good job carrying us right up to kickoff. Looking forward to it. But yeah, folks, until then, we'll be back after the game talking about this one and wrapping up the season. So, of course, again, be sure to leave comments under this video. And again, if you're new here, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you so much. We've enjoyed it all season long. We will be back after the game still, like I promised. And as always, take care, stay safe, stay blessed. We will see you after the game.